Greeting YouTube. Halloween is coming, so I thought I might do a couple of Halloween-themed RPG videos. And today's topic is going to be zombies, which are inexplicably still relevant. I thought that zombies jumped the shark in 2010. Maybe they're undead sharks at this point, who knows. Now, I've talked about zombies in the past and how I've used them. In my view, unintelligent undead have no alignment if you're playing D&D or Pathfinder or something, related to that. I feel that you have to have intelligence to possess a moral worldview, and since both zombies and skeletons do not possess intelligence, they cannot possess a moral worldview and so are neutral. I don't give a crap if the spell descriptor says evil. The negative plane is not evil. Negative energy is not evil. I fail to see how a negative plane and the negative energy from that plane can suddenly spontaneously make something evil just because the game designers say so. It's inconsistent. I don't like inconsistency. So zombies and skeletons in my world are neutral. I've used them in the past. For example, I had variations of them. I had a revenant, which the PCs had show up at their door. A man had been murdered, and not only just murdered, that is not unusual, but someone stole his identity completely. They had just assumed his identity. They killed him all on a trip, buried him in the ground, took off, and just pretended to be him for the rest of their life. And when this individual, the murderer, walked near or passed near the gravesite, it triggered the whole process. And this is a world of fantasy and magic. And the person pulled themselves out of the ground after taking some considerable effort to do so, and shambled its way to civilization, and discovered through listening and peeping and eavesdropping that the player characters in the area were powerful adventurers. So literally walked up to their door and knocked on it. They opened the door, and there is standing a rotting corpse asking for their help. And they helped him. He found the murderer, and he got his revenge in a bloody, messy manner. And of course, the player characters, being good adventurers, looted the dead. I've used them. I had a necromancer that ran a prostitution ring using zombie prostitutes, appealing to a necrophilia fan base. Yes, I went there. I've used animate object to animate a corpse to create an unturnable zombie. Really annoys people when they try to use their clerical powers on something that can't be affected by clerical powers. And the title up there deals with not just the fact that this is the Halloween season and we're coming up on, but that one of the things, I don't know if I've mentioned this before or not, but one of the things that I've always been kind of bothered by is that people don't seem to use the zombies' material structure against them. Whether it's a fantasy world where things are fueled by magic, or it's a quote-unquote real world like George Romero's zombie universe, people tend to forget that, well, zombies are terrifying. And by the way, I'm a proponent of slow zombies. I feel that they're a representation of the force of death, of the incarnate, the fact that no matter how far you run and how hard you try to get away from them, that they're going to keep coming for you. That death is inevitable and the zombies will eventually get you, kind of thing. I like that. Fast zombies, I guess they have their place if you want a little kind of scares, but I like the inexorable aspect of that plodding zombie coming after you. But zombies, or fast, slow, or what have you, are made out of meat. And I don't think I've ever seen in any fiction, any fantasy game, any modern zombie film, that anyone has taken advantage of the fact that if you lower the temperature far enough, meat freezes. So if you were in a world populated by zombies of any variety, any stripe, any flavor that you prefer, though I don't know if I want to use the word flavor where zombies are concerned, they would freeze. And if it gets low enough, they would freeze solid. So you could have a situation where surviving humans move into cold zones, and in the cold months, they can move forward and strike at the zombies with impunity, going after them with axes and sledgehammers and farming hand tools. And over time, create a clear zone where the zombies can slowly move in the warmer weather. But because they can never make a complete foothold because the weather is going to work against them, that the humans, having established this foothold, use it as an expansion and eventually, of course, retake the world. Now, I've spoken in the past about the fact that I feel like zombie apocalypses are absurd. The disease vector mechanism is silly. It doesn't move fast enough to really be a threat. That would be more along the lines of Shaun of the Dead. There would be a massive panic for the first 24 to 48 hours, and then we would just go about our business, and the world would now have zombies in it, and humans would just take that into account. It would not stop us. It would not destroy the world. Because there just aren't that many corpses around to suddenly stand up and start harming us. There just aren't. People in the ground, they're not coming out of those tombs. They're just not going to, folks. They're buried. If you're buried, you cannot really dig your way out effectively. And there aren't enough corpses lying around everywhere. Even in a George Romero universe where everyone that dies rises, you don't need to be infected. Even in that case, there still aren't enough to create a plague. You need to go into complete magical fantasy land for that, which I guess if you want to, you can, especially if you're running D&D or Pathfinder. But I like the idea of using some realistic physical mechanics such as a zombie's freeze, so that humans could then establish a safe zone in the colder months and expand that year by year by year. I like that. I think it's an interesting mechanism. It gives an element of hope. It still allows them to be surprises, because come springtime, you're going to have your average farmer going, "Hey Martha, zombies are back, must be springtime," kind of a situation. And especially if you have like situations where it's warm in the daytime and cool at night. So again, forward movement, they freeze at night, humans strike against them. So you get this dynamic going on. You get this metaphor for life battling death in waves and in balance and things like that. And I like all the kind of tropes thrown in there for a little flavor and structure, some nuance, if you will. Though I'll be honest, zombies aren't all that nuanced. So I want to ask the RPG community here on YouTube, how have you used zombies in interesting ways? Spread your memes here, folks. It's the Halloween season. Give GMs and players out there some inspiration. And can anyone taught me with using zombies as a prostitution ring?